All right, well, welcome small growers. This is take two of how to trap gophers. The last one turned out great, except it was so windy, the audio was pretty poor in it, so we're redoing it. So I want to talk about a couple things with gophers. One is seasonality. My best line of defense with gophers is definitely an owl box. A mature family of owls will eat up to 2,000 rodents, et cetera, and about half of those are going to be gophers. So getting a lot of bang for your buck, not to mention they're just super cool. The other thing is, if you have an owl box, you don't want to be overly diligent about your gophers. You want to make sure that there's food for them this time of year. So there's plenty of snakes and rabbits and other stuff there too, but don't go on a complete rampage with your gophers unless you have young plants. And this is actually a key component. Gophers do little to no damage on older blocks. You just need to keep them from getting out of control. Some of us even think they do some benefit by opening up the soil, tilling, doing a little drainage, especially if you have some compacted soils. They're probably going to do nothing but good. If you have small plants, they will eat the roots and they'll kill the vines. So when you have small plants, and that's anywhere from a new plant to about 3, maybe 4 years old, they can do a lot of damage. So on those new blocks, you have to be really diligent about doing it. I'm going to tell you about the other traps and methods real quick now. First is poisoning. Poisoning, you find the hole, there's little applicators you can put in the ground. There's two kinds. There is strychnine poison and a anticoagulant poison. Both, if done correctly, are relatively safe. If you have dogs in the property, I would be really careful of the strychnine. They're a lot of labor. If we actually look at the labor, the Maccabee traps are what we like best. The next is a carbon monoxide poisoning. It's basically a small engine that injects oil into the exhaust and it pumps carbon monoxide into the tunnel. A little bit obnoxious, also a lot of labor and an expensive piece of equipment. The third is something called the Gophinator. It is totally cool and totally fun. You are pumping the chamber with 50% oxygen and 50% propane and lighting it. It is as cool as it sounds, except it's dangerous. One, there's stuff flying all over the place. Two, you can definitely never do it near a house because the gopher hole could go under the house and you could wind up blowing up the bottom of the house. You don't want to do it near concrete. We've split a couple of concrete walks doing it. But most importantly, we have come back and found smoldering fires inside the hole. And in a dry, fire-prone climate like this, we packed ours up. It was a ton of fun, but we packed it up. They're totally cool, totally fun, totally impractical. For a small grower in the spring, maybe. Here's what we actually use. It's called the Maccabee trap. And there's a couple different kinds, but this is the basic Maccabee trap. It's just a simple spring mechanism that catches the gopher. One of the things that's confusing to people is most people think that when you push the trap down, you try and set it like this, it's going the wrong way. This has to come up underneath. It barely fits. And then when you press down on this, you have to line up this little tooth. I'm trying to get my fingers out of the way here so you can see it. This catches on this. And when you line that up correctly, it grabs it. This one's a little bent. There we go. It grabs it. Why is it when you do demonstration, it always, there we go. See, it barely catches it. And then this secures the trip mechanism. Once it's like this, it's very secure. You can stick it in the hole. As long as you keep your thumb like this, it's really secure. But as the gopher comes this way, you have to face it in the right direction. He trips that trip mechanism and you catch the gopher. So that's the Maccabee trap. We like putting the brightly colored mason's twine on it. You can lose a trap. You have to tie it up. Coyotes will try and steal it. If you have coyotes, you might want to use a really hardy stake. Pedro has developed a great system. If there's one trap in the hole, he puts one flag. If there's two traps, he puts two flags. This way you know to dig around and retrieve your Maccabee trap. But here's the real essence of knowing how to trap gophers. And here's where guys like Pedro have this much experience really shine, is you have to be able to follow the trail of the gopher. So we're going to show you, we have a vertical, this is a discharge hole. This is where the gophers have a network of holes, and this is where they're discharging the soil from where they're digging. So there's one here, One here, it keeps going up the hill. You can actually see a little bit of the tunnel here. Big discharge here, and then another one on top, all the way to here. So Pedro, based on this, where do you think the best place you could get where you would bisect the tunnel?
Okay, for me the gopher coming this side, then it's go like that side, you know. But I think the hose is around here. It's around here. Okay.
And you can see there's a mound there and a mound here. So if you connect those,
May want to kill the gopher.
right about here?
Side. Yeah.
Let's try it.
Here.
You're gonna hold the trap for it? No, you got it.
No, I'm going to hit the top, please. Okay. I hope I found the 2 holes. Okay. Working on this side.
So did you find? Yep.
Yes, I found.
Perfect. There's one hole. And do you see the other side?
Yeah. It's got that one go
Oh,
over there.
great. Yeah, they don't always head in the direction you think.
Give me one.
Oops, wrong way.
Okay.
Let me set the other one
Yes,
for you.
please.
So see how he's bisected the hole. The hole's going this way and this way.
For least you need to find the 2 holes. Clean little bit. And the same trap. Then you put inside there. Okay.
Okay.
It's ready. 1.
And then there's the other one with your thumb on it so it can't trigger.
Right.
You see how he's just placing it right in the hole. So either direction the gopher comes, he'll get caught.
Okay. Then I look in the weeks.
2 ways to do this. You can put sort of a clump of dirt like this back, but it has to be a little bit loose. The problem is it's also hard to dig up. But more importantly, we've noticed if you use weeds, the gopher thinks that the tunnel is just collapsed a little bit, and he comes to check it out. If you do this, the gopher will come night and day. If you leave it open, they'll only come during the night.
Yeah, exactly. When you're leaving open, only working the night. Okay. Always put it like this. It's done.
And that's it.
Yeah,
And now it's real easy to find. You put the 2 flags.
2 flags. Then you know what is one. This side. And the other one go the other side. So over there.
So Pedro, when should we come back and check this trap?
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so it's 24 hours basically.
24 hours.
If after 24 hours you haven't caught a gopher, you're probably not going to catch a gopher. For those of you that saw the original video that we did just up the hill here,
Yes.
we got the gopher.
I got one gopher.
One gopher, which is usually all you're going to
Right.
get.
Okay.
Yeah. Another tip, if you've used your trap a couple times, the smell of the dead gopher can get on them. Just a bucket with a couple teaspoons of bleach, rinse it, leave it in the sun. It'll get rid of that smell. When you put your traps away, make sure they're clean. You wrap up the string so it's good for storage.
Yes.
And
It's done?
I think that's about it. Anything else you want to add?
No, everything is okay.
All right. Well, you have now learned how to get rid of your gophers from the master.
I hope the guys know.
Yes.
See everything.
All right. Good luck.